Welcome to the Live the Call podcast, where I speak with guests living and working their soul's purpose. I'm Pamela Downs, founder of Spirit Calling and trans-channeler of the Great Council of Light. Every episode, our guests share their awakening story, and together we learn how they came to live their spirit's call. Join me in tales of self-discovery, enlightenment, and transformation to amplify your healing journey. Welcome to Live the Call. Today we have a special guest. We are so excited to introduce Clare Garner. She's a lifestyle strategist and visionary mentor who's shaking up the game. As a triple CEO, global speaker, and mom of two, she's all about disruption. From revolutionizing corporate services to pioneering crystal franchising, Clare's journey is one of relentless innovation, specializing in empowering rebel women. She bridges the gap between energy and strategy, helping entrepreneurs level up their brands. Yay. I'm so excited to speak with you. It's been since November that we connected. I can't believe it. How fast time has gone.
We were just saying, it feels like 10,000 lives since then.
I know it really does, but it actually has been for both of us, which is really funny. So we're so happy to have you here today. And Clare, the purpose of this podcast is to inspire others. It's for the people who are just, stepping into their spirituality. They're hearing their spirit's call. They're listening to it and they're honoring it. And they're seeing others who are living it by creating impact, by living and working in passion. So we're so happy to have you here today. And I am just really excited to share your story. So welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You're so welcome. Can you tell us, first of all, what was it that happened? Sometimes I call it a knockdown that gets you to shift your perspective, see things with new eyes, understand new realities. Did you have a knockdown? Was there a shift that happened in your life that helped you with your spiritual awakening journey?
Yeah, I call it my tower moment.
Ooh.
Mine was leaving my 15-year abusive relationship.
Wow.
For good. Like that time for good. And that was the catalyst of everything, kind of my whole life shifting, everything literally changing, my perceptions, my reality, everything in between. And that sent me down a whole year of just immersion in anything I could get my hands on, really, like from kind of astrological readings to tarot to oracle cards to crystals, of course, to anything in between. I was just like a sponge for about a whole year.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's one thing that happens and then you're like, ooh, what I need to learn this. And then it puts you on this path of what's down this road and what's over here around this corner. And it's so exciting and it's new and it's intriguing. And then you meet new people and you just continually want to know more and more and more. And what kind of space were you working in? What kind of work were you doing?
Yeah, so at that time I was a corporate entrepreneur. So I had my corporate business, and that's all I was doing. And that had always been my life. I'd always been in sales, very masculine energy, very kind of blue collar. That was what I knew.
You do have a lot of energy. That's one of the things that I like about you. I sometimes listen to, I was a guest on your podcast and I sometimes listen to it just to get energized if I'm on my walk, because we were just so good back and forth and back and forth. And we have a lot of similarities. I was in a 16-year marriage. It wasn't abusive, but there were, things that weren't resonating anymore. And I say that decision, just like you, to create opportunity for your future, to, move forward in love and passion and compassion for yourself, changed everything. It changed the entire direction of my life. So I know that there's others out there who are sitting in fear and afraid and, wondering, can I create the life that I want? What will happen if I leave? How will my children be? And, all of those things, as a mother, you and I know, and others do, there is so much thought. I mean, you overthink it to a fault because you are a mother and you're worried about them and how will this affect them? How will it affect them positively, negatively in their relationships with all of that? And you're shaking your head. Yeah, right. You had that too.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I wouldn't have stayed for 15 years had that not been the case.
Yes.
Every time I would try and leave, I would go back because of that mum guilt, right? Because we're made to believe that, you know, you should be a family unit kind of no matter what, and that's what the kids need. They need that security, and actually it's the complete opposite. What they need is love, and they need nurture, and they need protection from both parents, and that doesn't necessarily mean that it has to be together. And that was a very long a long learning curve for me to finally be able to step out on my own.
Yeah. What was the final straw? I hate that expression, but like, what was the final thing that just made you say, I have to do this?
I get asked that question a lot, and for me, there were two things that happened, but I have to say it wasn't necessarily like the final straw that broke the camel's back. For me, it was just the constant compound, and then the explosion. So I had my life threatened for the third time, but even then I went back. That was kind of like, I was so close after that. I was like, this is never happening again. This is never happening again. And yet I let him back in. And then I just moved into a new place with just me and my girls, but I was still kind of open to it. And I walked down the road one day and I saw him in a bookies, and he was a gambling addict. So at the time, but obviously he was like, I'm not going to gamble anymore. You know, that was kind of part of the thing. And I was just like, I'm done. I don't even care what excuses you've got. Like, just no more. And from that moment, I blocked him and I didn't speak to him for 4 years. And it's in the last month we've actually not come back together, but like we've started to co-parent, and I've let him back into my life as a friend, and I've actually been able to alchemize and heal a lot of those wounds that were still open.
Yeah, that's incredible. It's hard work. You know, avoidance is one thing. Well, not avoidance, but, you know, just completely eliminating someone from your life is one thing. But the energy is still there. The impact is still there. The conversations you've wanted to have, or like, you know, you and I have been on a healing journey. You and I have talked about this for years, working through the trauma, elevating our frequencies, stepping into our power, understanding our insecurities and how the trauma affected them, and like, you know, stepping up to the point where you're able to lead and be a disruptor and empower other women.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I do believe these journeys that we've had, you know, these understandings of who we are, how we serve, those journeys and that experience of trauma has helped us to create the work and understanding for the people that we're helping today. Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a firm believer of everything happens to us and not for us. And I wouldn't be the person that I am now had everything I've been through not happened. You know, I wouldn't have had those lessons. I wouldn't have had those triggers. I wouldn't have had those wounds that I needed to heal and then figure out who I was on that other side of it. Like, everything happens for us, but it's up to us to change that mountain and make it into a movement, right? To change that pain into our purpose, and to say, I'm not a victim, but I'm going to stand on my story and help others as they navigate through it as well. And that has definitely been true for me. And I would not be who I am today had I not experienced everything that I have.
Yeah. And the shift from corporate, that's another like masculine, hard, like energy that as you're experiencing your spiritual awakening, like oftentimes, right, Claire, you don't resonate with the work that you're doing. It's not serving your passion. It's not feeling purposeful. It's not elevating your frequency, and you're just not in alignment with it anymore. Can you talk about that journey and how that happened for you as well as you exited?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do still have my corporate business, but other people manage it for me now. But basically, when I had that year of the kind of deep dive, I very nearly sold it. Because exactly what you just said then, Pam, I was unfulfilled. I was looking for something more. I felt like I've always felt like I was meant for more. Like I was meant to be one of the few. I wasn't here to be like everyone else. I've always known that. And I've always been shamed for it and made to believe that it was egotistic, or that I thought I was better than everyone else. But actually it's an inner calling, and it's us answering that call, like you said at the beginning. And a lot of people don't like that because it shines a light on their own lives. and their own unwillingness to answer their call, and that shadow work that they have to do, right? But so for me, I had to have a good kind of long, hard talk with myself and really explore, you know, what do I want to do? And at the time, I had been really drawn to crystals. They had been helping me heal from obviously the traumas. And I just remember saying to my best friend, because she was the one who had kind of collected them and stuff. And I just remember saying, I feel so drawn to them. Like I'm meant to work with them, but I don't really know how. Like I couldn't see the path. And then a year later, I started the crystal business. That absolutely blew up really quickly. That in itself has been a journey on and off and deep exploration. And again, things transpiring, things coming to the surface that I had to heal in order to get to the next version of me. Like that opened up a whole big sister wound that I didn't really realize I had. But had I not been in that situation and started that business, I wouldn't have ever healed that, because I didn't know it was there in the first place. It's not something my corporate business had ever shone a light on. And so this was really triggering me. So again, I had to do some deep work. And then I came out the other side. And yeah, I mean, the story is so long.
It's not, though, because they actually are. These stories are long, and they're beautiful because we're constantly evolving. You know, 1 year to the next, 1 decade to the next, one day to the next. Things can change so quickly. That's what we were just talking about. Just since November, since we spoke last, how quickly things change. And when we're working, you know, you and I talk about being conscious entrepreneurs. You know, you could still be with that corporate business, but the mindset, the energy, the perspective, the drive, the work, the people, every part of it changes. And it shifts as you shift, because you are a reflection of your work, like you said. It's interesting because the concept of evolved entrepreneur and conscious entrepreneur are things that people say, and consciousness means different things to different people, right? But in the conscious entrepreneur space, you know, our goal is to help ignite others to find their purpose, to find their passion, to find their soul's work. And I want to know what a rebel means to you. You know, I want to know more about this new work that you're doing, because it's so cool, it's so exciting, and it's edgy, you know, and it's like a whole new way of being a conscious entrepreneur, and I'm really intrigued by it. I can't wait to hear about it. So tell us more.
Okay, so like, where do I begin with this? Okay, so the rebel comes from who I've always been. Even when I was at school, you know, I was always the rebel. It's funny because I see a lot of people talking about, you know, I was the good girl and all the people pleasing. I'm like, that was never me. Like, that was never me. I was always the naughty one. I was always the one in trouble. I was always the ringleader.
It's so funny.
I don't resonate with that at all. But so yeah, the rebel comes from that kind of no fucks given energy. Right, that's what I would say, because I don't care what anyone else has to say or think about what I do. I do it for me first, and I do it for my clients second, and I do it for the collective third. That is how I work, because you cannot pour from an empty cup. It has to be for you first, and then that ripple effect, right? So for me, that's where the rebel part comes from. And what I would like to say about when you said about following your soul's purpose. So this has been a really interesting journey for me, because I always felt, like I said, I always felt that I was meant for more and that there was something bigger, but I never knew what it was, right? I didn't know. I was just like, I know it's not this. And so for me, I've just always followed the thread. Like, when I started the crystals, I followed that pull to start them. When I stopped doing the crystals, I followed that pull to stop them. And then I started again, and then I stopped again. Now I'm selling it. But I've always followed where my soul wants me to go. And I think that is a really key pivotal thing to hone in on, because a lot of people, and especially if you've already got a level of success in your life as an entrepreneur or whatever it is, sometimes when you're starting from ground zero, there's nothing to lose and everything to gain, right?
Yeah.
So you're
Absolutely.
Like, but once you achieve a certain level of security or success, it can actually be even scarier, because now you've got something to lose. And it's like, okay, well, I've got this. if I suddenly detour over here, like what happens here, right? I might have to go down to come back up. And so that has been part of my journey as well, like really diving into that head first and just saying, I don't fucking care. Like I'm just, I need to do this for me, and I'll figure it out along the way. And I've got me, and I trust that I'm following the call. And if I'm following the call, everything will work out, because that's what I know I'm meant to be doing. That's how I'm going to get to where I'm meant to be. So that's led me to where I am now, which is essentially helping other rebellious women, right? Other entrepreneurs who know that they want more, who are already at a certain level of success, but they know they're just scratching the surface of what is possible for them. And it's interesting, that avenue that I've gone down. I didn't plan it. Again, like I never plan anything that I do. I just follow the thread. And the kind of branding and the identity and this new thing that I'm just stepping into now have all come just from downloads. Just like the other day, I was doing a master. I've got a 4-week mini mind on at the moment, and I was in the middle of it, and I had this download. It was so funny. It was of RuPaul's Drag Race, right? And I just saw this like runway, and the mini mind is a cool metamorphosis, just to give you some context. And I just said to them on that call, I was like, guys, I've just had the biggest download. It has absolutely nothing to do with what we're talking about today. But week 4, we are doing a virtual runway. I was like, you are all embodying your next level brand, and you are doing a virtual runway. I've just had the vision. It's freaking happening. And so, and so that has led me now to this quantum leap I've had. Literally yesterday, I went into a dark void yesterday. Didn't know how long I'd be in it. And I just was open to it. And I just went there, and I'm okay with the darkness, right? Like I'm okay with the shadow work and allowing that to kind of take over while it needs to take over, because I know that there's always light the other side. And so I just allowed it to happen and immersed myself in it, and really just went deep and lent into my mentors. And then through the night, kind of like, I can describe it as, you know, when you kind of have flu and you're kind of like,
you're in and out
space. So that was my night last night. Like, I don't think I really slept, but I don't know. Like, I kind of in this like field, and the visions that I had were so vivid, and I could almost feel like the cells in my body changing. And I woke up this morning, and I did this embodiment dance that I do into my next level, and I just cemented that emergence of who she now is, of who I now am. And I woke up and I was like, it's fucking go time. Like my world is shifting. And I went on socials and I was like, if you've been on the fence about working with me, you need to get in here now, because things are moving. Like, you're not going to get the same prices, you're not going to get the same experience. Like, things are moving really freaking fast. And so yeah, there is really exciting stuff about to happen, but I didn't plan any of it. It just kind of came to me.
You're surrendering completely, which is like, you know, we talk about that. We talk about, you don't need to know the ifs, the hows, the whys, the whos, all of it. You don't need to know it. You just need to step into understanding that it's there and it's coming to you. And if you're open and able to receive it, like people who might be watching this now who think, I want to work with Claire, that's that inspiration. That's that little crumb that you're going to grab onto, you're going to nibble on, and you're going to go to the next nibble, because that's what you're supposed to be doing. And you've just embodied the whole entire new phase, embodiment of what it is that you're supposed to be doing. I love how you said, you know, people need to understand this. The spiritual awakening journey is not all rainbow, sunshine, unicorns, and like, you know, flowers. Like, it is challenging. It is down deep, dirty work. It is a fight or flight. It is surrender. It is sitting in that space of, I know deep within my being that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm open to receiving the guidance. And I love that you said, I'm accepting all of the downloads and the information and the vision, but I'm also accepting that I'm going to sink down deep into it. And they're working on you. Your guides are working on you. Your guides are working on you. You are experiencing they are working on our bodies when we sleep. Like, it's incredible what's happening when we're sleeping. And it might sound scary to some that don't understand that, but that's the journey of when you really truly step into what you're supposed to be doing, the work that you're supposed to be doing, how you're serving. It's really exciting.
I have to
Yeah.
tell you this, because it's just come to me now, but I missed this part out, right? So the last kind of 3 days before this happened, I had a dream consecutively with spiders in it. Okay,
Wow.
I hate spiders. Like
Yeah.
like I killed them
You
if I
release
see them. Sorry.
fear. You're,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I had this dream every night, different scenarios, but a spider, and really vividly remember it. And anyway, I lent into someone who I know does kind of dream analysis and that kind of stuff. And she was like, you are literally like, the universe is telling you it's here for you. Like you're ready. Like it's ready. You need to fucking move. Like you need to do it. She's like, the thing that you're waiting on, stop waiting. And this was what catalyst everything, right? And then she said to me, she said, I wouldn't be surprised if the spider comes and visits you, you know, in real life. I was like, oh man, like,
You're like, that's
and then
okay.
I swear to God, this morning I was down, like it was 6 a.m. I was down, like making a cup of tea. I looked down, that's the biggest spider you've ever seen in your freaking life. Normally, I would kill that fucker. I'm sorry, but I would be there
You were
with
like,
a shoe, and it would be
hello.
dead. But I didn't. I captured it without any fear, like no fear. I put it out.
Amazing.
I flung it outside pretty quickly, admittedly, but I threw it outside, and I voice noted my mentor, and I said, "This is probably the only time you're ever going to hear me super excited about seeing a spider." But aligned with the card pull that I did
Ooh.
yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
synchronicity, and I was just like, my
You're in
mind,
it. You are on fire,
yeah,
Claire. You are on
yeah.
fire. It's amazing. It's so exciting. Yeah.
It was
Think about all the people that are now going to be attracted to that energy. You
yeah,
know, like
exactly.
the
Yes.
excitement of the crystal business, like the excitement of that being in that creation space, it amplified everything that you're doing.
Yeah,
Like, you
exactly.
know,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
I do believe that.
I never have any regrets about anything.
Hmm.
It's a waste of our energy. You know, I always look at everything as a lesson or a blessing or a redirection, like everything for the positive, no matter how dark it is, because what's the point, right? What's the point in
Yeah.
expressing that energy? We can't change anything.
Right.
So that's in the past. So yeah, I don't have any, you know, a lot of people do say, you know, oh, you know, that's a shame. I'm like, no, it's not. Like
Mm-mm.
it just wasn't the
It's just
right time.
sleeping.
It wasn't meant for me. Like
Yeah.
maybe someone else is meant to do that. I've got
Hmm.
it to a certain point. The idea has been born. The UK's never had that before. So someone I'm sure will run with it. It just
Yes.
wasn't my calling. I was just meant to do what I did, get it out
Hmm.
there, and then go where I've gone now.
Yeah. You remember when you and I spoke and you were like, Pam, now I understand what you're saying. Like, because we are in that quantum field, we are like receiving downloads and we're in our highest excitement. So we're connecting and zapping into all these different ideas and collaborations and all these things. So yeah, I call them fuelers. They're fueling, they're almost like giving us fuel to help inject energy into things that are moving. I have two businesses. I have a branding and marketing firm, and then I have the spiritual community. And they're always working in tandem. So if there's something happening here, it's I don't know how or why, but it's happening over here too. And they're like moving together, you know, down this path. It's fascinating. It's interesting. Um, so you know, you talked about the people that you're working with. Are they already entrepreneurs? Or are they
Yeah.
already like seasoned professionals who are maybe in corporate and thinking about jumping out on their own? Or can you describe that a little bit more?
Yeah, so I only work with seasoned entrepreneurs. So I don't work with people who are just starting out. It's not, lots of people are there for that. It's not what I'm
Hmm.
for in this season of my journey.
Hmm.
So I generally work with people who are already creating 10K months. They know that there's so much more for them, that they're just scratching the surface and they just want to amp it up to the next level.
Yeah.
It's like I like to kind of akin it to being the supporting act to the leading role. Like
Yeah.
you've been a supporting act all along. Now it's time to take that Oscar, right? Now it's
Hmm.
time to step into the limelight, because that's what you're made for. That's what you were born for. That's what you're ready for. Let's freaking go. Let's make
Yeah.
that happen. It's showtime.
Yeah. Yeah. They're risk takers too. You know,
Yeah.
there's a certain quality that we as entrepreneurs have. And we, you know, we were able to jump and make that change and see the
Yeah.
possibility. So you do get to a certain point in your life, whether you're spiritual or not, where you're looking for something that's just part of the entrepreneurial experience, right?
Yeah.
But when you want to really like step it up, you are taking that dial and you are turning it up with them. You are
Yeah.
pushing them. It's
That's
cool.
what I love. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just what I love. That's what I'm all about, right? It's like
Yeah.
more.
Yeah. Well, you're the amplifier. You're the amplifier we
Yeah.
just talked about. You're getting
Yeah.
behind them and you're like lighting it on fire. You're just like blowing it up for them. That's exciting, Claire. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
No, I love
Um,
it.
yeah. Are you still doing your podcast too?
Yes, yeah. So my
Yeah.
podcast is so we're in season 2 now. So again, when I kind of had my first quantum leap at the beginning of this year, I started my new Instagram. I had a re-emergence, right? I had been through my own cocooning. I had a re-emergence. I've had several since then. But I came in with a bang. And I was like, I'm not here for who I've been before. I'm here at a new level. And that season 2 was actually really a catalyst of everything that's happened, because I just started magnetizing like multi 7 and 8 figure leaders into my space,
Mhm.
guesting on my podcast, wanting to work with me, wanting to collab with me. And I was like, I'm not
Yeah.
financially at that level. So I was a bit kind of pedestaling them. And
Hmm.
then over the time, I realized that the frequency that I play at attracts the
It's
same
there.
frequency back. And
Absolutely. Yep.
so season 2 is freaking fire. If you guys
Yeah.
haven't listened to it, go and give it
Oh, I can't wait.
give it a download.
Yeah. The new cover art is so exciting. It makes me
Oh
want
my God,
to.
I love it.
Yeah. So is there, I always think that it helps people to, with me, with my branding and marketing firm, like my potential clients want to see the work that I've done. They want to see a case study. They want to hear a story of success. Do you have something like that you can share of how you've helped one of your clients and how you've helped them see like the possibility and what they've done? That would be so cool.
Oh my God. Well, bearing in mind, I've only stepped into this year.
Hmm.
So I've only really started working with clients in the last month or so. So during my metamorphosis mini mind, which we've started this week, this morning, I had a message from one of the girls women, and part of the homework this week was to really start finding their brand essence. Okay, so we're diving into
Mm.
like, what is the brand essence and what is the brand experience? Like, because my bag is personal branding. Okay, I don't do
Hmm.
kind of corporate branding. It's like personal branding. So amplifying who you are and 10xing that. So part of it was to find this essence and this experience, create your own playlist, create your new wardrobe as to what she looks like, how she talks, all of it kind of stuff. Anyway, so she messaged me this morning. She's like, okay, I've got this. And I was like, this is amazing. Now go and 10x that. Now
Wow.
go.
Yeah. Go think of the unachievable, like something that's so out there that
Yeah,
really it's pushing yourself into it's a new space. Yeah.
exactly. And I
Yeah.
just literally did a live on YouTube for the first time ever before we went on this, sharing about the 10x for the exponential growth, right? Because it makes our brains think differently. Like, we start seeing things that have not even been in
Hmm.
our vision when we're just
Hmm.
speaking in a linear way. So I love the concept of 10x and the whole kind of book and teachings of it. So that's
Yeah.
a big part of what I do.
It's really cool. It's visualization.
Yes.
Really, it's taking
Yeah.
yourself. So you know that I channeled the Great Council of Light, and one of the things that they channeled in their April message is visualizing the future version of yourself. What is it that you see?
Yes.
Bring that in now. Bring that in
Exactly. Yeah.
now, because you be it now, because it is you. It's already there. So be it now
Exactly.
so you can
Yeah.
receive it. And that's basic law of attraction. But we forget about those things and we think that it's only like if I want this or an experience or an item or whatever, but it's the actual future
Yeah.
of your life, like what you want to do,
Yes.
what you want to look like, what you want to sound like, with the experiences you want to have, the work you want to do, the relationship, like
Yeah.
all of it. And
Yeah.
that's something that I've been practicing for a long time because I understood at a very early stage in my spiritual awakening that I could do that. And it's kind of fascinating, right? When someone's understanding that for the first time, especially when they're bringing a 10K a month entrepreneur, they have to do a version of that because they wouldn't have the success that they have. So you're telling them like to just pump it
Dial
up,
it up,
dial it
Yeah.
up, amplify it. Like think
Exactly.
of the unobtainable. Think of the person that you just emulate, that you want to be
Yes.
like,
And this is
maybe
the
of
thing
your
with,
version.
exactly. And this is the
Yeah,
thing, with branding. And I'm not, I'm not like the logos and the web. That's not what I do. This is
that's
about
me.
the personal. Yeah, mine's about like the personal identity
Yeah.
or personal branding. But it's like I was talking to someone, another client, and she's got a great brand, right? Great brand. It's like the hot pinks, and it's out
Yeah.
there. And it's confident. But it's like, what's that next level? Like, you've
Hmm.
achieved this much success, so what is next? Like, let's
Hmm.
dial that notch up more than you've gone so far, because that's where the next level of growth is. So
Hmm.
how can we take that to the next stage?
Yeah.
Let's amplify.
Yeah. It's exciting. It's really cool. A lot of the women that are working in our space, I think, maybe not as corporate as us, maybe the healers and practitioners I'm thinking of, you know, in my experience through the years, have not been able to do that. And I've been seeing a shift in that space as well, because 2024 is the year of abundance, is the year where these healers and practitioners and light workers and all of us are stepping into this energy of abundance, of financial success and serving and feeling in like we're finally congruent with all those things that we wanted over the course of all this work that we've done. And it's exciting to see. It's exciting to see people like you who are disruptors in the corporate space, and people that are, wanting to live on purpose and work on purpose, just being themselves. I mean, I go to networking events all the time. I'm always out meeting people and doing business development for my company, and spirituality comes on the table everywhere I go.
Yeah.
Everywhere I
Yeah.
go. People don't
Yeah.
understand what spirituality is. They don't understand what consciousness is, but they're trying to move into that space.
Yes.
They're finding
Absolutely agree.
themselves, yeah, they're
Yeah.
finding
And I
themselves move
would
into that
say
space.
as well, even the closer you get to the top. So I know a lot of millionaires now and even some billionaires, and spirituality is on their cards. It's
Hmm.
important to them. They are very consciously aware of why they're doing what they're doing. It's for a bigger purpose.
Hmm.
And it's huge. And I would say it's where the 1% play.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's shifts happening now that I'm seeing also in people who are leaving traditional, like Hollywood, and moving out into the mountains and creating change, not only like in the area that they decided to move into, but with their work. And
Yeah.
there's an up leveling that's happening. And it's really, really cool to witness. They want to help people. I know 2020 helped ignite that. It helped, it was a huge knockdown. I call it a knockdown that I had in my life when I had my shift. But it was a huge shift in perspective. It's a huge, knock down and get up and look at everything with different eyes. What do I want
Exactly.
to do? How do I want to serve? What do I want to be working in? Um, and I like being aligned to that too. I think it's cool. And you and I witness that, and others that are like us are witnessing that. And there's a little, we talked about this on my appearance with your podcast. There's a little bit of cowarding that might happen because you're like, am I in alignment with that? Holy shit, I'm in alignment with that. What? Okay, cool. This is awesome. I didn't see that coming. And yes, Spirit, you got me covered. You've got my back. Like you're sitting there pushing me along. And
Yes.
it's fascinating to witness, but you have to own it, right, Claire?
I
You got to
have to
sit in
show
there.
you. I have to show you. Because you're so right. Like the call is big. It's
Hmm.
big. And we're
Yeah.
not exempt from feeling scared about
Right.
that. It's just that we take action anyway,
Right. It's
right?
just like, whoa, it's our
So
physicality.
my next level is freaking huge. It's absolutely
Mhm.
huge and it scares the hell out of me. So yesterday I created this and it says, I am Claire fucking Garner and anything is possible in my space.
I
And that is
proclaim
my
it.
screensaver. That's
Right.
my screensaver.
That's
Because
awesome.
I have to remind myself that this
Hmm.
is my calling, that I am Clare fucking Garner. Anything is possible because I believe it to be.
Yeah, it's true. I was on a podcast recently, and this guy was talking about spirituality. It was a husband-wife team, amazing couple. I love them. And he's like, people think little old me. How am I going to do this little old me? And I was like, little old me is amazing. We've been conditioned to think that we're small, but we're not. We're big. We need to step into the role. We need to shed the shell that's, limiting us, or all of the fears and trauma and the things that have happened to us in our life that make us coward. Well, I mean, you certainly have been doing that, and it's so inspirational to hear you and to hear about your experiences and the work that you're doing. What is something that you're really passionate about? You talked about it just started today, that you can tell people about. I want them to understand your work. So if at the end you can tell them where they can find you. But what is it right now that you just created? A little bit more about that.
So it's very, very like seed planting days at the moment. So I'm actually going away on holiday to Turkey next week, where I plan to just immerse in it and let it all come together. But basically the vision is there's two visions. So one is big in-person event in London where people come, entrepreneurs come, and they have a brand immersion. They embody their next level brand through how they dress, through how they show up, through how they interact with other people there. It's like this beautiful venue that I have no idea what it is yet, but
Amazing.
Like the vision is coming together, and there will be a runway, and everyone will walk the runway to their brand song that they choose, and they will quantum leap into their next level identity on that freaking runway. I guarantee.
That's cool.
It.
That's
So
so
that's
cool.
like the first vision. And then the second one is going to be basically a VIP experience of that, where I work with someone through a whole day. I think I'm going to call it Play to Slay, because play is a big part of my love language, and it's a big part of the brand immersion, where we do like personal shopping for the immersion. We find an event, like obviously we find a venue first. We have this whole experience, and they have their own red carpet moment as well, and they do the runway walk, and they just level up into their next identity.
Oh my gosh, they're vibrating right into their it's really cool. Yeah, it's really neat. I can see it as you're talking about it. And it's a physical experience. They'll feel the energy of the music. They'll feel the energy of their body moving. They'll feel embodied in the way that they look. And I mean, it also should be a TV show. It sounds really cool.
Oh my God, it should.
It really should be. It really should be. I can actually see it too.
Yeah.
As you're saying it.
Yeah.
See that? We just ignited and co-created right there. We didn't even know it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's going to be burning away now.
Yeah. Do you know what? I feel like, okay, so we talked in November and it is April. I feel like in 6 months we should talk again, and I can't wait.
We should.
Here. Yes. Yeah, for sure. I'm going to put a note that I reach out and we do that, because I want to hear about, I want to see things. I want to like learn all the things about what you've been doing, just like we did this time. It was so great to catch up with you. And can you tell people your website and where they can find you? And I'll put all of your contact stuff in the show notes for sure.
Yeah, so the best place to find me is on Instagram. I like to hang out there. It's at Clare Garner Official. You can go to the website, but you're better off going to Instagram. The website is phoenix-rise.co.uk. Lots of free gifts. Podcast obviously is available, and just drop me a DM, right?
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, definitely do that. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on Live the Call. You are living it, and you are helping others live it. So it's wonderful to see you, Claire. As usual, I had a great time connecting.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I hope today's episode sparked insights for you on your healing journey. If you're searching for support and connection, you should join our community at spirit-calling.com. Spirit Calling is a like-minded community of spiritual individuals learning, sharing, and growing together every day. No matter what you're experiencing in your journey, you'll find resources and a community to support you along the way. Until next time, keep listening to your internal guidance and stepping into your spirit's call.